Donald Trump just posted a bunch of different videos to social media in which all of them he's ranting incoherently about different issues that are on his mind. You know, instead of campaigning and getting out there and talking to voters like VP Harris and Governor Tim Walz are, Donald Trump is just sitting at Mar-a-Lago playing golf and then screaming into a camera. It's all very strange. I'm going to show you a couple of these videos. We'll talk about them a little bit. But before I do so, make sure to subscribe to this channel. It goes an incredibly long way, helps a lot. But now let's take a look at that first video. So here's the first video, and he's looking peculiar as always. Let's take a look.
It is DOJ policy that the Department of Injustice should not take any action that will influence an election within 60 days of that election, but they have just taken such an action. Voting starts on September 6th. Therefore, the DOJ has violated its own policy just in going after me. Election interference, they call it. All of these Comrade Kamala Biden hoaxes should be immediately dismissed and immediately stopped. Our country is in serious trouble. Our country has been weaponized by political opponents. We're not going to let it happen. Thank you.
Okay. I mean, so ridiculous. In all of these videos, he tries to throw all of the buzzwords in, as many as possible. He said Comrade Kamala, Biden, hoaxes, DOJ, all of these different buzzwords. He just tries to fit it in these really small, weird, rambling sentences just to get his base riled up. So what he's talking about here is the new superseding indictment against him in Washington, D.C. for trying to overturn the election for January 6th, the time leading up to January 6th and whatnot. And they did this new indictment, or brought this new indictment, with a brand new grand jury to fit within the Supreme Court's immunity ruling that was issued earlier this summer, with Donald Trump obviously at the center of that case. So they had to file a new indictment to fit within that case. And Donald Trump is saying, oh, it's violating DOJ policy. Wrong. Wrong. It is not violating DOJ policy because it's the same indictment. It's the same charges. They're not bringing new charges. That's what it's talking about. It is the typical charges that they brought, or the pre-existing charges that they brought before against Donald Trump. And, you know, he's still rambling about these cases. Like, he's already been found guilty in one of them on 34 different felonies. And still to this day, he's trying to convince his base and convince the American people that they're hoaxes, that they're just targeting him and all of that nonsense. No, not at all. Just read the indictment. Read the indictment against Donald Trump. You will see all of the evidence they have against him. They even want, even Mike Pence was going to testify in this case under oath that Donald Trump ordered him to try to overturn the election, to reject the slate of electors, send them back to the state so that they could overturn the election in favor of Donald Trump. Like, the evidence against Donald Trump is overwhelming. Overwhelming. If there was a jury trial today, he'd be found guilty. But instead of being honest about the facts, instead of owning what he did, he continues to do this. He continues to claim that it's rigged, it's this, it's that, all of this nonsense. It's complete garbage. It really is just unhinged stuff. But here's the next video from Donald Trump. That one was already bad enough. This one is really crazy. Let's take a look.
The millions of illegal aliens pouring into our country because of Comrade Harris, our borders are, and her open borders policy are taking the jobs of our Black and Hispanic workers and families. They are taking the jobs of our Black and Hispanic workers. Big numbers and total displacement. It's not fair. Vote for Trump and stop this madness.
My God.
The unions are next. They're coming after the unions. The unions are going to be seriously affected by those millions of people that are coming into our country from parts unknown.
Again, I mean, you know, I'm going to take this off the screen. We don't need to see any of that. We don't need to see the Trump Vance banner. Again, utter nonsense. Utter nonsense when it comes to his whole conversation around immigrants. He calls Kamala, again, the buzzwords. Just look at what he said. Kamala is the border czar. She's a comrade. Open borders. He does this all the time to rile up the base. But of course, none of it is true. The border's not open. Kamala Harris is not the border czar. And reminder, if Donald Trump thinks that what's happening at the border is such a problem, it's such a terrible thing that needs to be addressed immediately, then why did he sink the bipartisan border bill? The one that was negotiated between Democrats and Republicans. It was written by Senator James Lankford, a Republican from Oklahoma who he endorsed. It was a comprehensive immigration reform bill that would have solved a lot of the problems that we're facing right now. So, what did Donald Trump do? He killed the bill. He killed it. He said, please blame me for the bill dying in Congress. So, I don't want to hear a word from Donald Trump or any MAGA Republican when it comes to immigration, when it comes to the border, when it comes to solving the issues that we're facing, because they don't want to. They don't want to. They put politics and apparently national security, well, excuse me, they put politics above national security. They put their party affiliation, Donald Trump, above national security. That's what the Republican Party did with immigration. They continue to do it. So I don't want to hear a word from Donald Trump when it comes to immigration. It's just such unhinged garbage. But anyway, let's take a look at this final video I want to show you here.
Comrade Kamala Harris does nothing but complain, always complaining about this or that. But she's in the administration now. Why doesn't she do something? She does nothing but talk, nothing but gripe, nothing but complain about the terrible border or the economy and inflation. But she's been there for 3.5 years. So why doesn't she fix it? Go out, Kamala, stop talking and fix it. You don't want to do any interviews, so you have plenty of time. Go out and fix it. Don't complain. She's been there 3.5 years, and she complains about inflation. She caused inflation. She allowed 20 million people to come into our country, some from prisons and jails, some from mental institutions and insane asylums, and many, many terrorists. She doesn't have a clue. She's destroying our country and complaining about it all the way down. Thank you.
Truly incoherent, rambling nonsense. Like, does anybody understand what this guy just said? He didn't put a coherent sentence together that entire 1 minute that he just spoke and screamed at the camera. Not a single coherent sentence. He's trying to blame Kamala Harris for all of these problems, saying that, oh, she opened the border or she caused inflation. Can somebody ask Donald Trump how? I guarantee you ask Donald Trump, okay, you think that? How? How did she do it? He would fold. Because he has no idea. He's just using talking points. He's just using talking points. He has no idea why inflation went up. Newsflash, it was because of the major pandemic that happened all around the world. He has no idea why there was more people coming to the border. Newsflash, again, it was because of this major pandemic forcing people out of their home countries into the United States. He has no idea what he's talking about. Somebody please ask this guy to explain any of these things. With nuance, with intricacies, with specifics, he will not be able to do it. And by the way, his whole argument of, oh, she's been there for 3.5 years, why does she complain? Number one, Donald Trump is the biggest complainer in modern American politics. We just watched him complain about the DOJ indictment. These videos were posted like back to back. So it's quite hypocritical and ironic that these videos come one after another, and he is trying to claim that Kamala Harris is complaining. And the idea that she or Biden single-handedly could solve these issues is completely false. It's completely false. It shows a complete lack of knowledge of the United States government. If any of these issues could just be solved like that by the president of the United States, we wouldn't be in this problem right now. Just like with other countries, if prime ministers or presidents around the world could do the same, they wouldn't be facing inflation as well. But it's not that simple. It's not that simple. Donald Trump thinks it is because, well, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He has no idea what he's talking about. But it's just not that simple. And he lies to his base, he lies to his followers to convince them that it is, that it's just so easy, and if I get in there, I'll be able to do it like that. But it's not. And again, I also want somebody to ask Donald Trump how he claims or how he plans to solve all of these problems, because once again, he'll fold. He won't have any idea, he won't have a response. And look, I just showed you 3 of the videos that Donald Trump posted today. There were more that he posted. There were more. He posted like 7 or 8. But I don't want to put you through that. He's so irritating to listen to, and always completely off base, not factual whatsoever. I don't think Donald Trump has ever told the truth in his entire life, but there you go. That was Donald Trump's incoherent rant, or at least part of his incoherent rant today. Craziness, lie after lie. So anyway, I will leave it there. Thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate you being here. Make sure to subscribe down below. It goes an incredibly long way. Also drop a like on the video and comment. Let me know what you think about all of this. And as I always say, I greatly appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.